This is a very simple question, but it should be noted that it is a very old question. As far as we know, for the first time this question was raised was from a man named Epicurus, who 3 something BC to 2 something BC. And the question was a little different in his time, because in his time they were asking the question about the gods of ancient Greece. In our day, the question gets reapplied to the monotheistic concept of an all-powerful, perfectly good being. Right? God knows everything, God can do everything, and God's perfectly good in every way. Therefore, it logically follows that no evil should ever happen, because God's good, not evil, and God's in control, and God's aware. How does evil ever exist or happen? Why did God let this happen? This baby was born blind. If it was me, I would do everything in my power to stop a baby from being born blind. So we reapply the question to God. Well, why doesn't God stop a baby from being born blind? To respond to this question, I want to respond with a question. Can God have morally sufficient reasons for allowing evil? And let me just say that again. Can God have morally sufficient reasons for allowing evil? Perhaps letting you run your own life, perhaps giving us the freedom to choose to be evil or good. The interesting thing to me is that atheists are extremely ironic at this point. They really, really value the freedom to think and make their own choices and believe what they want. It's typically atheists who say, God can't exist because He's not here taking away my freedom to think and choose what I want. You say they want God to come and take away free will to be evil or good. And since God's not taking away your free will, then He can't possibly exist. But you're the same person who values your free will above everything else. It's like they want to sing hymns to the great God dictator that they wish existed, but obviously He doesn't, because He's not here taking away our free will. Richard Dawkins weighs in on this question, actually page 120 out of his book, River Out of Eden. In a universe of blind physical forces and genetic replication, some people are going to get hurt, other people are going to get lucky, and you won't find any rhyme or reason in it, nor any justice. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, and no good. Nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. As that unhappy poet A.E. Housman put it, for nature, heartless, witless, nature will neither know nor care, DNA neither knows nor cares. DNA just is, and we dance to its music. So he's reinterpreting the words of the poet. And I found a little short video where Richard Dawkins gives a little spill on the question of purpose. The universe we see has exactly the properties we should expect if it has a purpose, as long as that purpose includes free will. Imagine a world where murderers immediately die themselves, where a thief immediately gets robbed, where a rapist immediately gets raped, and where someone who does something good gets immediately rewarded with someone else doing something good to you. If we lived in such a world, would anyone ever do anything wrong? But we live in a world where you may get away with evil. You sometimes do and you sometimes don't, right? You may be rewarded for doing something right and you may not. And the point is that it is only in this kind of unpredictable world that we can actually be free to do what we believe in. It is only in our kind of world that you can live your life being true to what you think is right, instead of being only concerned about what you'll get out of it. That's a point that's covered in the Bible in the book of Job. God praises Job for his devotion and for being a righteous man, and Satan comes and accuses God and says, Job is not really a good person. He just gets good from you for being a good person. But he'll be an evil person if you take away all the good rewards of his actions. The basic concept there in the book of Job is that life is unfair and we don't always get what we deserve. But the point of that is that that makes us free to be who we really believe in. Many atheists want to say in response to the problem of evil, because the problem of evil says, well, there can't be a God because there's evil. And then you respond by saying, well, God has allowed free will. And then they say, but God favors the free will of evildoers. So imagine some evil man who comes and rapes a woman and kills her child and robs their money. That man has his free will supported, but these people's free will is unsupported. And the simple response is really what I just gave. I just wanted to spell that out. It's only in a world where you might get away with it and you might not that we're really free. You know, so sometimes horrible people who do horrible things like that get away with it, and sometimes they don't. And that's how our world works. And that's the only way our world can work if freedom is going to exist.